Hi everyone, I'm Emily, and today we have a low to the ground hip opening stretch. So come onto your mat and let's get started. We'll begin standing, and we'll just start with some hip rotations. So ground down in your left foot, lift your right foot off the ground, and we'll draw circles with our knees. So inhale, drawing a clockwise circle with your right knee. You can place your hands on your hips for stability, and you can always rest your foot on the ground in between circles. So reverse your circle. Make your circles as big as you can, as wide as you can. If you have tight hips, maybe make smaller circles. And exhale to release. Ground down through your right foot. Draw up with your left foot, and again draw clockwise circles with your left knee. If you're having trouble balancing, try finding a point on the ground in front of you to look at. And reverse your circle. Try to keep your hips square facing forward, and remember to breathe. If you're hearing any clicking noises in your hips, just try to make your circle smaller. Be very mindful. Exhale to release. Shake your legs out. We'll come onto the ground into a low squat, malasana. So make your feet as wide as your yoga mat. And we're just going to shift from side to side. You can use your hands on the ground in front of you to support you. This is stretching out the hips, so feel free to move in any way that feels comfortable. If you want to find stillness, you can do that as well. Let's all take a quiet moment, so let's come down into a still seat, malasana. Take a few more breaths here. Very nice. Drop your hands. We're going to come forward onto our knees, keeping our legs parallel behind us. Your knees are a little bit wider than your hips. We're going to drop down onto our elbows for frog. So if you're not feeling any stretch here, you can widen your stance with your knees. Just make sure that your hips are in an equal line with your knees. You're not coming forward with your hips, you're staying in the same line as your knees. Your feet can have the insides of your feet resting on the ground, and try to press away from the ground with your elbows and your hands, looking in front of you. Again, this can be a very difficult stretch for people with tight hips, so just adjust however you need to. Breathing. With every exhale, maybe you go a little deeper. Inhale to press your hands into the earth to come back up, and we'll send our hips back behind us into butterfly. So you can clasp your hands around your feet with your feet together, and we'll just start flapping our butterfly wings. Keep your spine straight. Try to bring your heels as close to your groin area as you can without it hurting too much. And we want to create movement here, but nothing that's painful. So if you're finding pain, maybe you extend your legs a little wider. Try not to press down as hard. And again, keeping that spine straight. Breathing naturally. And exhale. Let's release our left leg out in front of us straight. We're going to cradle our left leg. So put your foot in the crease, in your elbow crease, and put your knee in your right elbow crease. Clasp your hands so that you're kind of holding your leg as a baby. And we'll just kind of make this stalling motion. This is a really nice, gentle stretch on the hips. And we just want to make sure, again, that we're rooting through the left foot. The left foot is flexed and our spine is straight. So just breathe normally here. Make sure you're engaging your core to protect your lower back. Take a few more breaths here. And exhale to release. Send the right leg out straight and bring the left leg in, putting the foot in the right elbow crease and the knee in the left elbow crease, and then clasping the hands to make that sawing movement. This is a great stretch for maybe the quad and the hamstring as well. So if you're feeling really tight, maybe you're not able to clasp your hands and you're just holding your knee, that's okay too. Just doing whatever feels good to your body. All right, exhale to send your left leg out straight. Let's shake those legs out. And we're going to come into this kind of cheerleader sitting position. So we'll bring our left leg in and our right leg behind us. Bent knees. So you're kind of sitting in this little like zigzag shape. So you want to make sure that you're trying to send as much weight as you can down to your right hip, because that's what's going to try and come up, but you're trying to press it down. Not hard, but you want to try and make sure that those hips are square. So we're just sitting here. You can close your eyes, breathe into the stretch. If this pose is very difficult for you, that's okay. I would suggest maybe trying to sit on a book or a block underneath your left sits bones, or you can just sit in that butterfly again with both feet facing forward. This can be pretty difficult on the knees as well, so just be mindful. Exhale, we're going to put our hands on the ground in front of us and walk our right leg straight behind us. So now you're in a pigeon, and you're trying to keep your left leg parallel to the front of your mat, and your left sits bones are trying to reach the earth. And again, try to keep your hips square facing forward. If you're having difficulty, you can always use a block or a pillow underneath your left sits bones to just prop you up and take some of that weight off. Very nice. If you find more flexibility here, you can walk your hands down in front of you for sleeping pigeon and rest your head on the ground. And wherever you are, inhale to come back up. Send that right leg forward to cross it in front of you. To do the other side, we'll send the left knee, left foot to the back of the mat. And sitting in that cheerleader pose, again, trying to keep that left glute reaching towards the earth. Maybe try lifting your hands up to the sky to see where your weight is. Just be very careful if you have tight hips. Don't try and put too much weight on them without them being stretched out. So maybe we'll just keep our hands on the earth. Inhale and exhale to send your left leg straight behind you for pigeon. Very nice. And remembering to keep our right leg straight, parallel to the mat in front of us. And then the left toes are pointed. And we just maybe look back to see that the left leg is straight behind us and not going off in any direction. And your left hip point is reaching towards your right heel, and right sits bones are trying to reach towards the earth. This can be complicated, but it is ultimately a very kind stretch to both of our hips. And we can bring this practice into our everyday life. Maybe walk your hands down to send your head to the ground for sleeping pigeon if you like to try that. Keeping both of our hips pointing forward. Wherever you are, inhale to come up and gently bring your left leg back to the front with your right leg. Let's slowly move down onto our backs. And we'll bring our knees into our chest first. Then we'll move into happy baby. So grab the outer edges of your feet with your hands. Root down through your hips, your pelvis, sending it to the earth, and then kick your feet up to the sky so that the bottom of your feet are reaching towards the ceiling. Make sure that you're keeping space between your ears and your shoulders. And you're breathing. Release any tension that you might be holding in your face or in your neck. Let's find some stillness here. Make sure you're breathing normally. And you can always deepen your stretch if you feel like you can. So you maybe pull your feet wider apart with your hands. Or if that's too much, then you can bring your feet closer together, depending on your flexibility. Just always making sure that our lower back is reaching towards the ground. Take a few more breaths here. Imagine, visualize the joints in your hip opening up and being more flexible after just 15 minutes of practice. That's incredible. Okay, exhale. Bring your knees back to your chest. You can release your hands. Hug both of your knees tightly into a ball into your chest. Maybe you rock side to side to massage your lower back. Maybe you draw circles with your knees. Let's hold our left knee to our chest and extend our right leg out long, grounding down through the right leg, so keeping that right foot flexed. And then pull your left thigh and let gravity drop it towards the ground. Maybe you keep your right palm pressed on your right hip so that you remind yourself to stay grounded through that right leg, keeping your right hip point on the earth as well, while you open your left hip. And as you breathe, allow that hip to open and fall to the earth slowly, just letting gravity do the work. Inhale to bring your left leg back to center. Exhale, send it out long. Inhale to bring your right leg in, hugging your knee to your chest, and then allowing your right knee to drop towards the earth to open your hip. Very nice. Keeping the equal weight in both sides, pressing into your left hip with your left hand. Take a few more breaths here. just enjoying the last few moments of this practice. Inhale to bring your right knee into your chest, squeeze it in, and exhale, extend it out long. Release everything to the earth. And surrender. You can slowly press back up into a comfortable seated position. Take one more moment of silent reflection and send some gratitude to yourself for completing this practice. Bring your hands to your heart center in Anjali Mudra, prayer position. You can slowly bow your eyes open. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you found this helpful and that it opened up something in your hips. And I hope I see you again soon. Namaste.